This is 2337 West Monroe, described by police as a depot for Black Panther Party arms and ammunition. After a 15-minute gun battle that cost Illinois Black Panther Party Chairman Fred Hampton his life, Sergeant Gross described the parade as 15 minutes of hell and a miracle.
My name is Tristan, and as you can see, I am still in my cozy, quiet, except for that train, little corner. And I've come back here because I want to be interrupted by a train constantly. It's literally the best thing ever. I don't know if you've ever tried to make a show while a train rolls by, but man, if you ever get a chance, do it. It makes the experience so much better. I'm still in my cozy corner, and I'm here today because we got to talk about a new movie that I just watched called Judas and the Black Messiah.
I heard that speech. I knew we'd make noise. I just thought it'd be in the streets.
The Black Panthers are the single greatest threat to our national security. Our counterintelligence program must prevent the rise of a Black Messiah.
Judas and the Black Messiah is the true life story of American civil rights hero Fred Hampton and his calling to take the political voice of the Black Panther Party to new heights and change the face of America in the process. All while feds, led by J.Edgar Hoover and using a desperate, downtrodden man named Bill as their mole, attempt to take him down.
Or you can go home.
What do you want?
Get close to Hampton.
The Black Panthers are forming a rainbow coalition of oppressed brothers and sisters of every color.
Neutralize him by any means necessary.
This film is enlightening and shocking and ultimately pretty sobering biopic of two men who really couldn't be more different if they tried, but whose lives are intertwined by destiny, fate, whatever you want to call it. And it's directed by, with confidence, I might add, a man named Shaka King. And I had never heard of this gentleman before, but I gotta say, this is a slick neo-noir aesthetic that he has pulled off for this film. And it's really, I couldn't be more excited to check out whatever projects this guy has coming next. So even the opening credits to this movie is something to take note of. It is a sharp, quick, effective civics lesson that, impressively sets the world of our movie. And interlaced is some really impressive recreations of interviews that end up being quite shocking at the end of the film. And then the movie starts proper, and we are treated to a wonderful opening scene that just sets the tone and the visuals and the slickness of the entire film to come. There's muted colors all over the place, but the greens and the yellows and the blues really pop and show off. But it does have this gritty, down-to-earth, almost copper-ish tone over the palette that really lends itself to the neo-noir aesthetic. And camera-wise, it's a wonderful balance between this very intimate and claustrophobic handheld and beautiful wide shots that really take in your surroundings, and especially during the speeches. So as the movie continues and it unfolds in front of you, you really, really, really start to notice this fine, great detail work in the production design and the art direction. And it's everywhere, whether it be in the time period itself, Chicago of that era, or even in the differences of the way white America lives compared to the way the rest of America lives. It's very, very impressive. And again, you start to pick up shades of like Ridley Scott's American Gangster, or even Martin Scorsese's Taxi Driver, So it is a impressive feat. Oh, and then you notice the soundtrack. Oh, it's moody and agile, and it always seems to hit the right, no pun intended, note. And like I said, it's agile. It's all over the place in a good way. There's single instrument, like just notes that plays all the way to funk and soul, all the way to full orchestration. The script is pretty tight, and it does a good job of balancing two men's stories into one historical statement. It's hard to do. Most biopics are just about one person, and this really tackles two. I think the only critique is that I would have cut some of these minor B-plot subplots out in favor of even more internal stuff with Bill or with Fred, or even their dynamic. So it is a long movie, but relax, it doesn't feel long at all. I promise. It's always a good thing when a movie can do that. And it's not just rousing speeches that gets your blood pumping in this movie. There is plenty of high tension moments to go around. Half the time you can't even believe that this happened in real life. You swear to yourself, this cannot be real. And as it turns out, it very much is. This film is very, very mature in its handling of this story, okay? Nothing in the narrative is entirely, sorry about the pun, black and white, okay? The good guy, bad guy dynamic in this film is very much muddled and gray. And the only real light you have to hold on to is the character of Fred. And movies like this, especially biopics, they live or die on their casting. When you're trying to bring a real person's life to the screen, I almost think casting takes precedent over everything else. And we could roll through the history of wonderful biopics where actors have just lost themselves in the role and gotten acclaim and many, many rewards for it. So the proof is in the pudding. Your cast has to work for a biopic to work. And this ensemble fucking nails it. Even with this movie being as good as it is, the ensemble is the piece de resistance of this movie, okay? I'm an actor first and foremost, and I'll just tell you, this ensemble got me going, okay? They're top notch. Martin Sheen is in this, and he plays Devil. I'm sorry, I meant he plays J. Edgar Hoover. And he's straight up evil. So anti-Jed Bartlett in this, it's amazing.
See?
Jesse Plemons is the most patient snake waiting to strike you've ever seen. Plemons has this interesting actor trait that I've noticed. You can kind of read his face, but you can't ever really read what he's going to do. It's really unique to him. He's like a mystery.
Where'd he go?
Do we follow him?
Dominique Fishback plays Deborah, who is Fred's love interest in the film, and really his only intimate personal connection. You know, she says rock, but really she's the audience's conduit into the human side of Fred. You know, she adds dimension to the preacher at the pulpit and really humanizes him. And she is the emotional rock of this movie. She's really, really powerful.
Like the masses, I was in awe. when I first laid eyes on all the things you are.
And of course, character actor extraordinaire Lakeith Stanfield plays Bill, our mole and second lead. Man, you can really tell his tug of war between his survival instinct and his heart in some of these scenes. His character is selfish and disconnected, and he's not a very good man. But something in Lakeith's face, you don't want to hate Bill. You want to see him rise up. You want to see him make the better choices. There's a good man in Bill somewhere, and it's a wonderfully complex performance. Lakeith Stanfield is such an impressive, connected actor. And in this, he is everything from slick and slimy to frustrating and all the way to empathetic. You want to root for him. You want to see him come out the other side clean. Last, but certainly not least, Daniel Kaluuya in this movie is nothing short of phenomenal.
Deputy Chairman Fred Hampton of the Illinois Black Panther Party.
No qualms about it. No question. He rides the line somewhere between Malcolm and Martin. He is both gentle and can be very imposing. As a performance, Daniel can overtake the entire movie at the drop of a hat. He can overwhelm you with his impassioned, intense speeches. And the movie just becomes his, and all the better for it. King is smart enough to just let go and let Daniel.
I need everybody to repeat after me. I am a revolutionary. I am a revolutionary. I am.
He's so engaging in some scenes. You're just watching him and you just find yourself, you just raising a fit. Oh. You don't even notice you're doing it because he's so present and so in the moment. You can't help but be wrapped up in this leader of men.
Way too high. Ain't too high. I'm high off the people.
If the Academy does not, at the very least, nominate this man for this performance, somebody should be immediately fired.
And the Oscar goes to Daniel Kaluuya, Judas and the Black Messiah.
We're going up, you know what I mean? We're enjoying ourselves tonight because we've got to celebrate. We've got to celebrate life, man. We're breathing, we're walking. It's incredible. It's incredible. Like, it's incredible. My mom met my dad. They had sex. It's amazing. Like, do you understand? I'm here. You know what I mean? So, I'm so happy to be alive.
He completely disappears into the role. I know everyone says that about every biopic, but honestly.
He can have on a three-piece suit or dashiki, because political power doesn't flow from the sleeve of a dashiki. Political power flows from the barrel of a gun. We might not be back. I might be in jail. I might be anywhere. But when I leave, you can remember I said with the last words on my lips that I am a revolutionary.
And Kaluuya just absolutely has become this guy. I mean, he's nailed everything from his dialect, his speech patterns, his mannerisms, and how he walks and talks and carries himself. It's absolutely incredible. And then, in his quiet moments, he's powerful too. You take away all the revolution and the speeches and just him as a person, just speaking to a loved one is powerful in and of itself. He's a complex, multi-faceted character. And it takes a complex, multifaceted person to bring that to life. This is one for the ages, as far as I'm concerned.
I'm gonna die for the people because I live for the people. I live for the people because I love the people.
So before we wrap up, I just wanted to talk about another standout scene that kind of legitimately blew my mind. And it's the Rainbow Coalition scene. And I've heard that term before, in passing. I really didn't know what it meant until this film. It is amazing to see Fred crash into, coalesce, and ultimately connect with perceived racial divisions, groups of people that should not be together. To know that it happened in real life legitimately is amazing.
If this building caught fire right now, what would y'all worry about, huh? Water and escape. If somebody would have asked you, what's your culture during this fire, brother? Water. That's my culture.
And that's another thing. You know, can I just be a white boy for 5 seconds? I had never heard of Fred Hampton before this. I know, awful. I'm still learning. And thank God I'm still learning, because I get to experience art that tells real life stories like this. And I get to be illuminated and enlightened by them. Thank God. Thank God for films like this. Again, small town, ignorant white boy, and I gotta say, watching this movie with that frame of reference is really special. Black families and communities have probably know this story pretty well, especially around Chicago. And, you know, white families just probably don't. It made me understand, even more so, the perspective and the context and the history of this struggle. When you grow up just knowing two names, Martin and Malcolm, you have a lot to learn. This is a thrilling, beautiful, dramatic history lesson that does not sugarcoat anyone's point of view or anyone's part of the story. Some might say too real, very un-Hollywood, a very unromantic, truthful look at this brilliant man and this horrifying society that decided to punish him. You know, you may leave the movie with a confused, troubled heart and mind, but that's okay, because that's the truth. And movies that decide to leave you with the truth, no matter how that feels, to me, is honorable. And it's something to be proud of as a filmmaker. And it's something as an audience you can feel good about, because no one is treating you like an idiot. You're still left inspired by the man at the center of all this. If this movie exists only to do that, it has done its job. The great part is it does so much more. So, yeah, do I recommend it? Absolutely. It is worth your time. It is worth your money. And yeah, just get ready for one of the best civics lessons you've ever had.
We're not a racist organization because we understand that racism is an excuse used for capitalism. And we know that racism is just a byproduct of capitalism. If we don't hate the motherfucker white people, we hate the oppressor, whether he be white, black, brown, or yellow. We're gonna fight racism, not racism, but we're gonna fight it with solidarity. We said we're not gonna fight capitalism with black capitalism, but we're going to fight it with socialism. Everything will be all right if everything is put back in the hands of the people. And we're gonna have to put it back in the hands of the people. Y'all stay right here. With the people. Because we love the people. Okay, you put your hands down now. We say all power to all people. We say white power to white people. Brown power to brown people. Yellow power to yellow people. Black power to black people. X power rules to be left out. We say Panther power to Vanguard Party.